Let's go to the ring now. Set for the introductions.
Gentlemen from Pensacola, Florida, the cradle of naval aviation and the home of the whitest band in the world. This is your main event. Your referee from Hialeah, Florida, Mr. Bill Connors. Introducing the principals first. In the blue corner, wearing today the black trunks with the white trim, weighing in at 151.5 pounds, from Chicago, Illinois, with a professional record of 16 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw, 6 wins by knockout. Please welcome Storman Ron Amundsen. His opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the silver trunks with the black trim, weighing in at 155 pounds, from Pensacola, Florida, with a professional record of 2 wins, no defeats, both wins by knockout. Here is Roy Jones Jr.
Referee Bill Connors out of Hialeah, Florida, brings the two boxers together.
Instructions in the back room now. We're going to have a clean fight. Any questions about anything? Touch gloves. Listen to my commands. Good luck to you.
Scoring on the 10-point must system, handled by the 3 judges. There's a mandatory 8, no standing 8 count. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The bell does not save the fighter in any round. So Roy Jones in his 3rd professional bout, going against Ron Amundsen, who is a member of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, thus his nickname Storman, derived from Storman Mormon. He does Mormon missionary work in Chicago. In fact, Ron spent 2 years doing his formal Mormon missionary time in Seoul, South Korea. That was back in the early 80s. His 1 defeat last September, Amundsen lost a 10-round decision. Did not look good against Davey Hilton in Atlantic City, knocked down on the 7th and nearly went down on the 10th when Hilton broke his jaw.
Hilton could punch. I think he was overmatched too soon. They put him in as just fodder for Hilton, and I think that was a mistake of his manager.
In fact, Amundsen was just trying to survive in that fight, and he admitted he was mentally intimidated, rather candid for a boxer. He said he was overmatched, should not have gone against Hilton.
He was right. There's nothing like a broken jaw to give you clear vision as to your chances.
Amundsen not noted for hand speed and needs a stationary target. Roy Jones is certainly not that.
Oh, he's anything but a stationary target. He's chosen to open, has Jones, in a very slow fashion. Usually comes storming out. He's just being very patient here.
Jones usually very difficult to hit because he steps in, throws a quick 3-punch combination, and then it's gone before his opponent is able to fire off. We have not seen that to this point.
He's fighting a very slow fight, and he's just keeping a distance between he and Ron Amundsen.
Strong uppercut by Jones, and then immediately lowers the hand and goes to the showboat tactics.
Now that's funny. In the previous bout, every time Hobson showboated, they booed him. They cheered this guy showboating. He must be a big favorite around here. Is Roy Jones Jr.
Jones's moves reminiscent of a man he admires greatly, Sugar Ray Leonard, with that low guard and fast hands approach. Style fluid, but keeps the hands very low.
When he punches, he's got some thunder in his punches.
And Jones scoring with the combination.
Amundsen's face is getting all red, starting to just show signs of lumping up as these punches, infrequent as they are very hard on the part of Roy Jones Jr. Final seconds, round 1.
And this is round 2. Roy Jones in the silver trim with black, and Ron Amundsen in the black trunks.
Again, the showboating. He grabbed the rope, and he didn't get warned by the referee, Bill Connors. Hobson touched the rope and got reprimanded for it.
You saw the weights on the tail of the tape right before the start of the fight. Jones at 155, Amundsen 151.5. Many boxing people at the weigh-in thought the scales were off by as much as 4 pounds. Amundsen, as we said, at 151.5, but he said he actually weighs 156. So if that's correct, Jones is closer to 160, and this is a junior middleweight bout.
It calls for some interpolation by the boxing commission. If they all weigh on the same scale, just deduct the 4 and keep on going. What you're seeing here is a very, very big difference in hand speed. When Amundsen tries to come in and punch, just as he gets his punch off, a zinging shot is coming back from Roy Jones.
Amundsen looking to showboat, attempting to throw Jones off. Ron Amundsen is actually club fighter status over his head here against Jones, against the speed and reflexes of Roy Jones.
Remember, this man has had 18 fights against Roy Jones' 3 fights, and that gives you an idea of what statistics mean. Nothing. I understand that here, everyone is convinced that Roy Jones can step in and fight for the title by the end of this year, not next year. And when you see these kind of performances, they fool you because it's not quite equal talent. What happens when he steps into somebody good?
And that is the current field of champions. IBF, Gianfranco Rossi, WBC junior middleweight title holder John Mugabe, and the WBA champion is Julian Jackson of the Virgin Islands.
Well, at this point, I could never see Roy Jones step in with Mugabe. Not at all. And maybe not Julian Jackson. I think Rossi would have a chance with. Pumping body shots.
And Jones doubling up with the left hook. And those body shots are doing damage to Amundsen. Jones in the second round. And this is round 3. Roy Jones and Ron Amundsen. From the hometown of Roy Jones, Pensacola, Florida. We're at the Civic Center. And Jones opening up with the solid rounds 1 and 2.
In spite of the tail of the tape, which wasn't that different, to me it looks like he's much bigger. I mean, forget what the tape says. He's bigger than the other guy in everything, in talent, but in size he's bigger. Here's Jones.
Roy Jones, the youngest member of the United States Olympic boxing team. He was awarded the Val Barker Cup as the outstanding boxer of the games. That seemed like an acknowledgement of guilt by the international boxing officials after he had lost to Park Si-hun of Korea, losing the gold in that highly controversial decision.
Oh, those hooks are really doing some damage. Jones' hooks are very, very hard and right on target. It was a beautiful hook, and when you aren't watching, the uppercut does a lot of damage as well.
We are halfway through the 3rd round. This is scheduled for 8.
Showing the mark of a good combination puncher. Just when he fires off 2 or 3, you think he's through. Out comes another couple. And those are the ones that do the damage. Whoa!
And the warning from the referee, Bill Connors.
This has settled down to hard fighting, very little hot dogging, as Jones has come to work. It looks like he is determined to knock out Amundsen after a very kind of quiet first round.
Jones now using the jab effectively. Amundsen forced to cover up.
Anytime he comes close, he gets hammered to the body, to the head.
Jones with the left hook, and he is beating Amundsen here in round 3.
Amundsen throwing some basketball fakes at him, but they don't do any good. This is boxing, and he is getting hammered.
Well, there seems to be satisfaction in the corner of Roy Jones. He is handled by his father, Roy Jones Sr., one-time middleweight who fought in the 60s and the 70s and faced Marvin Hagler in July of 1977. Losing to Hagler, a bout that was stopped in the 3rd round.
Jones got hit, did a little posturing, and then returned with 2 or 3 slamming shots. Right now, his punches are way too wide, Roy Jones. He's got to get down to pinpoint punching. He's gotten sloppy now. Getting used to easy pickings. He is throwing those long arm shots, which will not work when he gets in with top competition.
Minute gone by. This is round 4, scheduled for 8. Does Ron Amundsen take a good shot? Or is it a question of the punching power of Roy Jones perhaps not being as strong as advertised?
The first part is true. He takes a good shot. The second part is you haven't seen Jones's power yet because he hasn't dug in to throw sharp, crisp punches. He's been throwing these arm punches and showboat punches. When he gets down, look at the way he keeps his left hand down. Jones does. When he gets down to digging those toes in and really punching, then he does knock everybody out. Look at that. He left his feet on that punch. You know, you look down in that corner, it was all black and silver. Did it remind you much of the Raiders, which are wherever they're going to end up?
No. Jones.
Over and over again, that demonstration. You cannot substitute for reflexes and hand speed.
And a very sharp combination by Jones. Amundsen, on the other hand, is strictly an arm puncher with no power.
And slow. The deadly news is he's slow. Amundsen just took a big, deep breath. His arms are low, indicating nice weariness.
10 seconds left in round 4.
Look at that lunging thing. It looks like an aircraft leaving an aircraft carrier. He almost went into flight with that punch. It didn't land, and if it had, it wouldn't have done any damage.
We have to, we don't want to, but if you have to resort to putting your elbows up in between you and him. Or have to resort to putting an elbow up between you and him when y'all come to make contact.
And that is Roy Jones Sr. talking to his son. Ron Amundsen, very quiet, soft-spoken. When he came to Pensacola last month to promote this fight, the local promoters wanted him to make negative remarks about Roy Jones to help encourage ticket sales, but they were disappointed because all Amundsen would say is that Roy Jones is a fine fighter, a wonderful human being, and he promised to pray for Roy.
The religious background, he seems to subdivide it very well. Inside the ring, he blocks that out. Outside the ring, he's a very religious and sensitive man.
A man who did Mormon missionary work in Chicago and spent 2 years in Seoul, South Korea, doing his formal missionary time. Ron Amundsen out of Chicago, where he was a 4-time Golden Gloves champion.
Well, right now we're getting about to that point in the fight, in an 8-round fight, where you can say he just about hasn't got a prayer. I mean, because he is being dominated here. I think there's no question that Roy Jones's next fight will be a 10-round fight as he... Ooh, what a combination by Jones.
And follows it up effectively, but Amundsen remains standing. We've had no knockdowns. But Jones now pouring it on as we hit the halfway mark of round 5.
Jones getting serious about this knockout thing. There's no steam in Amundsen's punches.
A right hand that just grazed Amundsen. And Amundsen getting to the body of Jones.
Jones. Absolute frustration on the face of the more experienced fighter, Amundsen, who thought he could keep the pressure on and neutralize Roy Jones. Roy Jones has taken his pressure and turned it back on him.
Amundsen was nailed by a hard left hook by Davey Hilton last September. Hilton broke his jaw, and Amundsen is getting nailed continuously here in the 5th round.
Uh-oh. That's the first sign of hot dogging, sticking your tongue out.
Final seconds of the 5th. On to round 6. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. Roy Jones coming off a very powerful 5th round. What does the fight doctor scorecard tell us?
I have a total shutout. 50-45 in points, quite unofficially, but I don't think anybody in his right mind can give one round to Ron Amundsen, who has been taking a boxing lesson and a shellacking. When did you send those trunks that Jones has to the cleaners? You re-chrome them after every fight. Ooh, first 2 decent shots that Amundsen has landed in rounds and rounds.
At this point with Ron Amundsen.
What a display of speed and punching ability. You get the feeling that if he just dug down and started to really punch hard for a knockout, he'd get it. But Amundsen displaying an admirable grit and ability to take this kind of punishment of I guess you get that, what you call a missionary zeal. You can take just about anything if you want to. He's very, very determined.
We approach 1 minute remaining in the 6th round.
You think that Jones's lack of clowning basically is a sign of his maturity coming to pass, or has he just been so busy he didn't think about it? What do you think?
Well, I was surprised that he came out as he did in round 1. He usually comes out in hot dog fashion, and he looked like he was ready to do business, and then where he got his confidence, he did begin the clowning, and yeah, perhaps that is the reason that he's taking it a bit more more seriously in his first professional bout here in Pensacola. Had an easy time with 31-year-old Ricky Randall. There was too much hot dogging on the part of Jones.
He's certainly serious this time. It's been precious little of the showboating that we saw before. Boy, that was a hard right hand. And that did have knockout on it.
We'll be back after these messages. Back at the Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida. Roy Jones having his way, an easy time against Ron Amundsen, although there has not been a knockdown, although it has been purely Jones from the start.
He has pitched a total shutout here. And when you look at the display he's putting on, and you look at the Olympians of the '88 Olympians, you have to compare him to Andrew Maynard, who certainly has about that much quality and strength, and also Michael Carvajal. I don't think Roy Mercer belongs in that group. He's very hard punching, but he's not a boxer. He's a slugger.
Do you feel Roy Jones has the most talent out of that group?
I think he's right in there tied with Carvajal and with Andrew Maynard. Michael Carvajal is a fine little fighter.
Jones is currently attending Pensacola Junior College and will enroll at the University of West Florida next year. He did take some time away from college to train for the Olympic trials and then the Olympic Games in Seoul.
A little time to repair. The glove has a little bit of tape. That's about the only mercy he's going to have.
Let's go.
And the repairs by Georgie Navarro in the corner of Ron Amundsen. Navarro, a featherweight contender, stopped by Jeff Fennick in a title fight last year.
Fennick's case was rare in that he broke many bones in his hand, retired, and then setting the record for below the fighter retirements, he's back. He's out. As soon as his hands healed, he said, I'm back.
Ooh. Left hand by Jones to the chin of Amundsen. With 1 minute remaining in the 7th round, the pounding continues.
Amundsen is tough. His head snapped back. You would think that he would show damage, but he's still there and there fighting.
Earlier here on Sport, quick left hand by Jones, and Amundsen goes down. You see the time remaining in the 7th round. Referee Bill Connor is saying, are you all right? And then, are you sure you're all right? And Connors has called it. It is all over. Roy Jones has stopped Ron Amundsen in round 7 of a scheduled 8-round bout. This is a one-way affair from the opening bell. I can't recall many effective blows thrown by Amundsen.
I can, and I'm kind of amazed that he took as much as he did before he finally went down, because his head was snapping back. That's usually the sign that you have no more control, and down you go. And he did.
So Roy Jones makes it 3 for 3 as a professional. Record of 3-0, all 3 by knockout. And you can place the name Ron Amundsen alongside